Alright guys, I am back to tell you guys about China this week. We're going to do China actually all month, but I just wanted to tell you guys some quick kind of fun facts, things that you may not have known about China. China is about the same size as the United States, but it actually has more people in China than any other country in the world. And because of that, there's more people that speak that language, which is Mandarin, than that speak any other language in the world as their first language, which means the language that your mama and daddy taught you and that you started talking. The capital of China is Beijing, and that's where obviously the government would be headquartered. They are a communist government, which means that their leaders have a lot more power and control over the people than here. For instance, they have lots of video cameras that watch people, and the police keep kind of a close eye on people just to make sure they want everybody to do exactly what the government says that they should do. Okay, there's no different time zones in China. Everywhere is the same time that it is in Beijing because that's how important they think their capital is. So, like, if you think if you've ever gone to like Atlanta and back, it's a different time in Atlanta than it is here because of the different time zones. They don't have that there. They also have lots of different like terrain in China. So in the north of China, they have some deserts, but in like the southwest, by the border with Nepal, they have the Himalayan mountains. And Mount Everest is actually the very middle of the top of Mount Everest is the borderline between China and Nepal. China is known for not just being the mountains, deserts, and their really controlling government. The Chinese people tend to be very historically very creative and inventive, and they actually invented paper, toilet paper, the magnetic compass. So like you open a compass and the compass needle points to north. They invented that. Also gunpowder, silk, like fabric silk, porcelain, suspension bridges, ice cream, kites. Originally kites were meant to scare off their enemies, and not just for fun. They also have the Great Wall of China. Y'all should totally see if your parents will let you Google it for you. The Great Wall of China. And look at a picture of the Great Wall of China. It is the largest man-made structure in the world. It's 5,500 miles long. It's a wall that was built to protect the country from like invaders. It's really, really cool. They made that whole thing, and they actually used sticky rice to help hold the wall together instead of like concrete or cement, which is kind of interesting. China is known for rice. They eat a lot of rice. They grow a lot of rice. Also green tea. They have lots of green tea plantations as well. And the tea leaves grow on bushes, and they just pick the leaves off. Okay, buddy. You can stop. Also, another thing they're known for is chopsticks, which were actually originally used for cooking and not just eating. Brides in China traditionally wear red instead of white. White is actually like a color that you wear when you're sad. Like if you were going to a funeral, you would wear white, which is really different than here in the United States. Some weird foods that traditionally they've eaten include frogs, snakes, dogs, and scorpions even. I don't want to eat any of those things, guys. Over 80% of the toys that are manufactured in the whole world come from China. So like if you look at your toys, thank you, Michael. If you look at your toys, lots and lots, the vast majority of your toys will have been made in China. And even, please stop, a lot of like, if your mama's ever cooked with garlic like I do, most of the garlic in the world, that's not appropriate, sit down, comes from China as well. In China, your last name goes first. So like my name is Julie Weems, but I would introduce myself as Weems Julie because the family is really, really important, and you identify first as a member of a certain family. So your identity with your family is more important than your like identity as being your own person. Does that make sense? It's kind of really different. The family just has a lot of power and control and is very, very important to them. Some of the things that people like to do in China would be to play Chinese checkers, chess, ping pong, soccer, basketball. Hey, baby. They even like cricket fighting. A lot of people have. You all done? Michael, stop. They do not want to see your face. A lot of, some people keep crickets as pets. Y'all, I don't know how you keep a cricket as a pet, but they do. And they actually have cricket fights. I don't know how you make a cricket fight one another, but they do it. They think it's fun and cool. And the most common hobby in China is stamp collecting. Michael, they don't want to see your tongue. Stamp collecting. Also in China, there's more. Boys are considered more important than girls in China. And so in China, for a long, long time, so that families could only have one baby. And because boys are considered more important than girls, that meant that there are more boys than girls in that country. They also have orphanages, which are places where kids go to live if their mommy and daddy cannot raise them for whatever reason. Okay. And so, but the family is just like super duper important. So we're going to touch back on kind of that family aspect. Next week when we talk about that, a lot of people typically live with grandparents in their house. I know we've talked about that in other cultures before. That in the United States, not a whole lot of people live with their grandparents, but in China they do. It's very normal and expected part of society. So next week we are going to talk more about China. I'm going to talk to you about some really cool things that are going on in China because the Christians in China are really bold about their faith, and they love to share their faith with other people, even though the government is a lot more strict and holds a lot more control over them than here in our country. So there's some really, really cool, amazing, amazing stories out of China, and I am so excited to talk to you guys about that next week. For now, just wanted to give you a little intro to the people of China. And I want you guys really to remember to also, China is about more than just the coronavirus right now, right? We have heard a lot about the coronavirus, that it's like a big, big deal now. But think about just Chinese culture is really just like dynamic. If you get a chance this week, try to Google a picture of the Great Wall of China. It's really cool. And think about that. And I'm sure most of us have people in our lives that are Chinese, because there's so many people that obviously there's going to, even if they leave China and go other places that you see, like I have, my boys have 3 cousins that are from China. I work with lots of people from China. And so just think about somebody you may know from China that you might think is really cool. I know the people I know that are Chinese tend to be like really like intelligent and motivated and hardworking and just like really, really cool people. I'll talk to you guys more about all this next week though. I hope you have a super fantastic week. I'm really sorry for all the children that have been in the video sticking their tongues out and things like that, but that's just life right now. And my little guy didn't take as long a nap as he probably should have. But thank you guys for watching. I apologize for any of the weirdness going on. Y'all know it's me. I'm going to bring weirdness to the party anytime. But I appreciate you guys. And I hope that this video was not super